Hey guys, Ollie here, and today we're resuming Rare Month, our month-long celebration of all things Rareware. We're looking at many of the developers' games all through the month leading up to the release of Rare Replay on August 4th, so be sure to subscribe and check back for all our reviews over the coming month. Today, we're taking a look at what is perhaps my favorite game of all time, and what I would consider to be Rare's magnum opus. I hope you like Honey and Feathers, because this is Banjo-Tooie, baby. Originally launched in 2000 as the sequel to the already incredible Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie was one of Rare's last releases under Nintendo and one of their final N64 titles. Consequently, Banjo-Tooie takes everything Rare learned from its earlier titles on the system to create perhaps the ultimate platformer. Taking into account the 15 years since its release, is Banjo-Tooie still worth a couple gold feathers, or should you get jiggy somewhere else? The sequel begins some 2 years after, and spoiler alert if you've been living under a rock, the Bear and Bird last made series antagonist Gruntilda's life a living hell, and we find our dynamic duo sitting down for a game of poker on a picturesque stormy night. Meanwhile, the other end of Spiral Mountain, Gruntilda's siblings Mingella and Bodella come to free her from her would-be tomb and find her now totally skeletized. Huh, I guess some folks really are big boned. Naturally, the witch wants some revenge and quickly sees to blasting Banjo's house. Fortunately, everyone makes it out alive. Everyone that matters. Not Bottles. Of course, none too pleased with the toasting of the short-sighted mole, the adventure begins in proper with Banjo and Kazooie setting off to the Isle of Hags, where they meet the head Jinjo himself, Jingling, and Grunty's plan becomes crystal clear. Moments after you meet him, the king has the life literally sucked out of him in order to help the old hag get a new set of meats for them bones. It's much more in depth than the original Banjo-Kazooie title, yet despite a seemingly darker tone at the outset, Banjo-Tooie is no worse for the wear and even manages to maintain the quirkiness of the original game. Many times the sequel even improves on it with lots more sly jokes that make talking to every single character well worth the effort. From a gameplay perspective, Banjo-Tooie is more of an evolution of the ideas developed in the original game, rather than a revolution of platformers. It has lots of new additions and smart changes. One of the first ones you'll notice early on is that the notes which you used to collect to open doors in the overworld are now used to learn more advanced moves from Bottles' brother Jam Jars. And there's quite a few of them. Everything from using Kazooie as a rifle a la GoldenEye to separating the duo and putting all manner of stuff in Banjo's newly vacant backpack. Another quickly perceivable change is just how much bigger all the levels are. Basically every one of them is the size of the witch's lair from the first game, this saying nothing of all the passageways that now connect them together. Where Banjo-Kazooie had some similarities to a Metroid game, Tooie's are much more obvious. You can't even collect all the jiggies in the first level without first learning moves in another world altogether. It fits really well here and makes finding new areas a truly joyful experience. Basically everything great about the first game returns here, with a few twists too for good measure. For example, the transformation mechanic is back and there's lots of fun things to play as. A submarine and a giant T-Rex being some of my favorites. But they come via way of Humba Wumba, freeing up Mumbo to be his own playable character. Though, in truth, he's a little underutilized as he doesn't do much other than activate special pads and then be promptly forgotten until the next level. In truth, my only real problem with Tooie is that the camera can still be a little annoying at times. Battling Lord Fok in one of the sequel's numerous boss battles perfectly highlights this with some sketchy reticle control. But, other than that, even the multiplayer is a lot of fun, as many of the minigames from the single player are available, and there's a lot of fun to be had doing quizzes with a few other Banjo nuts. In addition, for owners of both Kazooie and Tooie on Xbox, there's a certain bonus that many will be happy makes an appearance here. From a presentation standpoint, Tooie, much like Kazooie, is inconsistent in its HD presentation, with some textures looking really sharp and others not so much. What can be appreciated here, more so than in its predecessors, is that Tooie has a rock-solid frame rate. While this may not sound like much on paper, you have to consider that in its original N64 incarnation, Tooie had some major hiccups in this area, especially in the sky-high Cloud Cuckoo Land level. Which brings me to my next point, in that Banjo-Tooie, like many rare titles, has great art design. There's tons of inventive level and character designs, as well as another fantastic score by Grant Kirkhope. Tracks like Glitter Gulch Mine and Grunty Industries continue to play in my head on repeat to this very day. The only real sin that Banjo-Tooie commits in this release is that due to the increased speed of the game and the quickness of its loading, the opening sequence is horribly out of sync. But even this is forgivable since it's only a small part of the game. Banjo-Tooie, for all these flaws, really holds up and is still great to look at. They even managed to get Donkey Kong on Xbox after all. Despite a few flaws, Banjo-Tooie remains a game that I would consider among Rare's very best. It is as much a joy to play now as it was back in 2000, and is a game I would recommend to anyone who has ever enjoyed a platformer. Banjo-Tooie gets a 5 out of 5.